I decided that it was him throwing my way. Yes, his comment.
Good afternoon, members, Garrett, Holmes, staff, and guests. The lobbies are open and the recording has begun.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm happy to convene this August 12, 2026 meeting of the Executive Management Team of the Liquor and Cannabis Board. I'm Pete Holmes. I'm subbing for our chair, who is out, Chairman Bollendroff, and we're also joined virtually by Board Member Ollie Garrett. So today we're highlighting the Finance Division, and kicking it off will be our Chief Financial Officer, Spencer Good.
Are we changing the slides?
You ready for me to start?
Yeah.
Slide.
Well, I'll get it started. So good afternoon, board members, Garrett Holmes, fellow executive leadership team members, and anybody that's online today. Today we have 45 minutes set aside to cover most of what the finance division does, as well as introduce the whole team that reports to me, as well as additional individuals. Just to give everybody a chance to update and overview of what the finance division does and who we are. Thanks again for allowing us to go last so that everybody could be a lot further along in the year-end close process. And before I get started, if anybody ever has questions throughout the process, anything like that, feel free to interrupt whoever you need to. Next slide. Like Board Member Holmes said, I'm Spencer Good, the Chief Financial Officer and the Director of the Finance Division here at LCB. I've been here officially a year and 2 weeks.
Yep. Yes.
Almost
a year
12
and 2
months.
weeks.
The finance division split up into 6 different programs. The CFO office, the budget team, ops support, which covers contracts and facilities, general accounting, tax and fee, which covers beer and wine and spirits and cannabis, and then the revenue audit program. Next slide, please. The finance division has 44 FTEs spread across those 6 programs. Currently, we have 2 vacancies, both of which will be filled by internal transfers, one next week and one in the middle of September, which will then take us to 1 vacancy come the middle of September. Next slide. And the CFO office is comprised of myself, Tammy Justice, and Aaron Holmes. And the picture on the right is the bulk of the financial leadership team, minus Jeannie, who is based in Spokane and online today. And that's my spiel, and I will turn it over to Tammy.
Go ahead, next slide. Good afternoon, I'm Tammy Justice. I'm Spencer's assistant, and Aaron Holmes is my assistant, who we are the CFO office. As Spencer said, we support 44 employees, and we implemented this last year, the TEMS. We are the TEMS administrators, and we implemented the travel expense management system, which has been around for many years through state government. We are your administrators. Together with general accounting, we implemented this in January 2025 and went live in September of 2025. Just some fun facts for you. From July 2025 to June 30th of 2026, we had 253 TEMS submissions, that's travel reimbursements that we processed. 98 were hard copies for the old way we used to do it. We're on the A20 forms, and those forms were used during the transition of TEMS. Total to June 30th, we've had 351 total travel reimbursement submissions, and we've conducted over 30 training sessions. The success to that is that employees are reimbursed within 2 to 5 business days, electronic versus paper. We're trying to do away with the paper process, and no cost for TEMS, and less errors and faster processing times. And we get to meet with people across the state. We work with them both individually. We have kiosks in-house. We do a lot of one-on-ones with folks, helping them get their travel, making it easier on our officers especially. some of the things, we do have some common staff returns with it. Our start and return times, day trips, we're still working on trying to fine tune those with our travelers. Overnight per diem can be confusing once in a while, and then some lodging tax entries, just some basic things. But overall, in finally making this live here at this agency, that's pretty darn good considering those are really minor errors that are fixable, and we're still training them all the time. So our priorities are continue to network, educate and train them, and less returns. And Erin's right here. Thank you. I believe budget is next.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Budget Team. I am Heijin Park, Budget Manager, and we have one more person in our team, Scott, as a Budget Analyst. We're a two-person team. Despite of our size, we do take on a wide range of responsibilities and building a new process and find ways to improve efficiency and support our divisions and agency as a whole. So today I'd like to share some of what we do, what we are working on, what we've accomplished so far. So as a budget team, we maintain ongoing role in the planning, analysis, and implementation of the agency's operating and capital budgets. Once budgets are approved, our team monitors the agency's expenditures and financial activities, ensuring we're aligned with the executive and legislative intent. Our team's role and our responsibility is to provide financial reportings accurately and timely manner that helps us develop reliable projections and gives leadership the insight to prepare to respond to the potential impacts from current and future state legislation. And here is the expected state budget timeline for next biennium. As you can see, there is 5 phases, and currently we're working with our CFO, developing initial concepts for our decision packages and agency request legislation. For next slide, I'd like to share what we accomplished so far. So looking back, one of our key success was completing 2026 legislative session. During the session, our agency received 75 fiscal note requests, and we delivered them all on time. Also, our team developed and streamlined the financial note process, which has made things more efficient internally and helped us to collaborate more effectively with each divisions. Also, we focus on making small improvements as well that adds up to meaningful efficiency gains, such as our process, for example. We work with Tammy mainly with the admin group. So this part is a HR form that requires our team to sign off every time there is any type of HR movement, and it requires financial codings. However, to expedite the process, our team provided a self-served coding instructions to the team, so they can actually fill out the coding with the form, and then we didn't have to sign up every time, which improved and simplified the process and helped us save 10 minutes a week, which seems very small, but that adds up to 48 hours a year. So although these seems to be a very small changes individually, but together it will reduce our manual work and improve consistency, allow our team to focus on things that really matters to us. For the challenges, as I mentioned, we as a budget team, we're a brand new team, and both of us are new to the state service. So that being said, we're both still learning about the state service and our roles and filling the knowledge gaps. And we're also establishing our team's process with the internal stakeholders so we can provide consistent financial reports, and we can build the continuity for our team and prevent the knowledge disconnection in the future as well. And where are we heading next? Our goal is to build a strong foundation, which means standardizing the process and improving our forecasting accuracy and continue to identify inefficiencies and cost-saving opportunities. We're working on increasing financial transparency by providing self-serving tools such as budget dashboard or monthly financial reports. So with these, ultimately, our goal is to build a trust and strengthen our relationship across the departments and provide reliable financial information to users, and so we can serve and support better for the agency. Thank you.
Okay, I'm next. Good afternoon, I'm Melissa Cox. I'm the agency's operational support manager. I have been here now 6 months, so still learning. If you have any questions during the presentation, feel free to ask. I may or may not be able to answer them right away, but I will sure get an answer from you. My team consists of Will McGill. He's our building supervisor. He's been here for over 20 years, wealth of support, wealth of information. Cassie Harden, she's our customer service specialist too. You probably see her at the front desk reception a lot. She assists Will with a lot of facilities requests and whatnot. We have Stacia. She's our contract specialist 3. And again, she's been with the agency, I think now 3 years, but she's doing great. She's still learning, but I really appreciate how she's always willing to go that extra mile. Tia Livinggood, again, like Will, she's been here forever, I think since 2005. So whenever I have a question, she's always the first person that I ask. She was not in the picture today, but anyways, also Kim Smallwood, she's our contract specialist as well. Kim does some purchasing and some contracts. We're getting her more up to speed, but small team, but they do great work, and I can't tell you how pleased I am to have a team where everyone comes to work every day to participate and do their best. So next slide. So we do a variety of things for the agency. The first is building and facility support for headquarters and 7 field offices throughout the state. And some of those responsibilities include lease negotiation in collaboration with DES, management of the janitorial services for all of our facilities, coordination of conference rooms for outside entities for use at headquarters, and overall ensuring our buildings are safe and secure by maintaining access control systems and badge access, whatnot. So for fleet management, our agency transportation officer provides oversight of fleet operations in collaboration with enforcement. I know there's a lot of work with that division in managing the fleet. We have 162 permanently assigned vehicles, and some of those oversight duties include coordination with divisions to ensure that our vehicle utilization is in line with OFM requirements and accurate and timely mileage reported to DES as part of that oversight. For asset management, we provide oversight of more than 2,300 capital assets. They're valued at approximately $42 million, which increased substantially from 2024 due to the 2 new systems, leads and tax and fees. So that really jumped up our overall value. And we ensure that one of our main goals right now is revising our small and attractive list, because we're tracking too many things that really aren't a risk to the agency. So we're looking at that list right now to see what things really pose a risk to the agency and trimming that down a bit, because things like docking stations and other smaller items just don't make sense anymore. So For purchasing, contract administration, and procurement management, we kind of lumped those all into one. But for FY '26, we processed 250 purchase orders, and we currently manage 110 contracts, varying from interagency agreements to data security, data sharing agreements, and then IT contracts and professional services. So a wide variety, and most of those are managed by Stacia. So she's got a lot on her plate. And then the other area that we have oversight is the promotion of state sustainability initiatives. And that was one thing when I first came here, I had never heard of SEEP. So that was a bit of a learning curve to understand that we are actually a SEEP agency that were named in an executive order. And with that comes some extra responsibility and requirements. So that's been interesting to learn what those are and how we can help meet those. And then the last is division records management. Not a lot there to talk about. So, okay, next slide, please. So under successes, there's the second bullet there. That data is incorrect, and we are fixing it on the final slide. But for successes, the first one is our team received a productivity board incentive award for a mailroom project that saves the agency about $42,000 annually. So pretty impressive. What they did is they consolidated our mail stops and then created some efficiencies in the invoicing and approval process. So they just were awarded, they just received their award yesterday with the Secretary of State's office. So that was pretty exciting for them. And then the second one there actually should read that we met the sustainability requirement to reduce fleet emissions by 40%. And that requirement is in statute for 2030, FY 2030. So we're well ahead of that game. So that was nice to hear. Again, that was incorrect based on the slide incorrectly. So for full disclosure on that. Okay, some of the challenges. Onboarding a new unit manager. I've worked for the state for over 20 years, but the last 10 years I've been mostly in contracts. So just getting back up to speed on asset management, fleet management, all those different areas. A lot has changed over the years. So that's definitely been a challenge for the team, I'm sure. And then we really like to focus on onboarding, on improving our overall service delivery. When I came on board, our focus was so much on compliance, where to the point where our processes became clunky and cumbersome and very confusing, even for me. I've been doing this for 20 years, and so right now we are working on a process where we're identifying where we can provide some efficiencies and basically free up some time so that the rest of the agency can focus on serving the mission of the agency and not have to worry so much about how to buy a pen or a keyboard. So, silly things like that. But I'm excited to start that process. It's going to be a lot of work, but hoping that with some input from our internal customers, we can come up with something that's much improved, of course. And then for goals, our next goals, again, I already talked about that, but we started working with Jessica Dang to formally create a project to streamline from the acquisition process all the way to disposal of the asset. Again, there's a lot in between that we can clean up. So excited for that. And then I stole this last bullet from budget, really working with IT, with Stephanie's team, to identify areas where some of our roles and responsibilities intersect, and figuring out where those duties really lie. Is it an IT or is it an operations? So I'm really excited to start working with that again to make things easier for our customers. So, any questions? Thank you. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon. I'm Krista Weisner. I'm the General Accounting Manager, and I want to tell you a little bit about our General Accounting program that we have. So we provide accounting services that include the oversight, management, and safeguarding of the agency's travel, financial revenues, and expenditures per our agency policies, procedures, and then the state and federal regulations. Our unit consists of a manager, supervisor, 2 fiscal analyst 4 leads, 2 fiscal analyst 3s, and then 2 fiscal analysts 2. So we might be a small team, but we do have a big impact on the agency. The GA unit is responsible for the following items. So we have accounts receivable management, cashiering duties to include preparing daily deposits, coding of cash receipts, canceling and reissuing warrants, receiving and reconciling almost 30,000 banquet permit credit card payments. That's a big one. Collections and restitution tracking, reconciliation for past due amounts. So our accounts payable administration, this covers all outgoing funds, ensuring that our vendors and our other state agencies are paid accurately and timely. It also includes processing license refunds, unclaimed property, and employee travel expenses. Our cash and card program control. So this was where we oversee internal spending tools. They manage and reconcile agency purchase cards and travel cards and banking fees and enforcement's regular and investigative petty cash funds for each region. State and federal compliance reporting. So this ensures compliance with external agencies. The unit prepares monthly and year-end reports for the Office of Financial Management, use tax filings and unclaimed property for Department of Revenue, and vendor miscellaneous 1099s for the Internal Revenue Service, and that's just to name a few. Policies and procedures in our chart of accounts. So the unit maintains the structural foundation of agency's finance. They enforce statewide accounting regulations, update internal procedures, and then we manage the official agency chart of accounts as well. Next slide, please. So I wanted to come today and talk to you a little bit about our succession plan that we have in general accounting. So we're taking a 3-step approach for our succession plan. And the reason why this is so important is because we identified several staff who are retiring, and we needed to know how it affected our unit. We assessed what this means for our unit if we do not have a plan in place, and we want to invest in our staff to ensure it minimizes the disruptions to the agency. So we identified several staff who are retiring and how it affects our unit. Fully staffed, we have 8 employees, so a single vacancy can affect our daily operations greatly. The unit has 3 employees retiring over the next couple of years. We had one just retire last month. We have one retiring next June, and hopefully I'm soon thereafter. Every single one of us plays a vital role, so we must ensure that we don't fall behind on any of our accounting responsibilities. We have an incredibly talented and dedicated team. This plan is designed to make sure that if someone takes a well-deserved vacation, transfers to another position, receives a promotion, or leaves for a new opportunity, which we don't want, we want to keep them, but sometimes it does happen, the rest of the team won't be left overwhelmed. It's about protecting our peace of mind and creating clear pathways for growth right here in our own unit. And it's about building a supportive, sustainable workplace where we look toward the future by investing in our employee development and growth to succeed together. We want to align staff personal ambitions with the future needs of our unit, and it's looking ahead to target our retention efforts. So we assessed what this means for our unit. We're having conversations with employees and how we can support their career goals. What are their long-term goals? Are employees interested in lateral moves? Are they interested in promoting? We've had several employees who have actually taken advantage of both of those. So it increases their knowledge and experience in additional areas of our work, and knowledge cannot live in a vacuum. We want to invest in our staff. So the heart of this plan relies on job shadowing and cross-training. It's investing in our staff because it boosts morale for everyone in the unit. We want to give hands-on resume building experiences in a supportive environment where they feel safe to learn and grow. We're documenting work, ensuring desk manuals are up to date. It allows us to build a collaborative safety net so that anyone can confidently step in and help out whenever needed. And we would love to have our future leaders come from within our unit so that we keep their years of agency historical knowledge. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to talk to you about our audit team today. We are, as Krista mentioned, kind of also a small and mighty group. So there are 2 supervisors and the rest of the group is spread out across the state. The purpose of our team is pretty simple, making sure people are compliant with the reporting and payment of taxes and fees owed to LCB. We also do all of the little petty cash and investigative fund audits that are spread out across the enforcement team, all the offices across the state. The purpose of the team I just went over as far as the closest groups we work with, our enforcement folks, our tax and fee team over here. The jobs is pretty much straight line, go out and make sure folks are paying their taxes and ensure the compliance is there. So we also do some side investigations and things like that that are requested from our enforcement team as well. So they can be random. They're generally outside of the scope of an audit. Sometimes that comes up and meet our assistants and vice versa. We'll do the same with them. The tax and fee audits are primarily conducted by risk. How much money are they paying to the agency on a yearly basis? We have a couple other factors in there that I won't bore you with, but that's primarily where we go with our scheduling our audits. Next slide, please. So we actually cut off our fiscal year numbers right here. What you're looking at today, we will reset it every fiscal year so we can kind of see if there's any trends, things like that that's happening on an annual basis. These numbers up here that you're looking at today, the number of audits that we did from the previous year actually went up. However, the amount of money that was identified from our audits went down considerably. A couple factors for that. We have a lot of staff in training right now, and we also have a very large credit that we went out to verify that came up through a request, and therefore they were correct and money went back. So our numbers took a hit there, but that's okay. We're happy to make sure it's all done correctly. The third or the second bullet down there speaks to DOR taxes that are identified from our audits. With all of our audits that have DOR taxes, we will send them the results so they can follow up on that if they wish. And we have a pretty good relationship with our DOR folks as well. 23% of our audits had findings involving our enforcement folks. So either before, during, or after an audit, if we are dealing with the enforcement staff or vice versa, we will track that just to see how much involvement we have with their team. I think I already responded to or mentioned that last bullet there. So the investigations, documentation review, etc. Next slide, please. Well, it's kind of the name of our group, revenue auditors. That's usually where our success comes from. This year, not so much as far as the total numbers, but typically speaking, we do much more than we saw on this slide previously. That's been a success most years that we do this, or just about every year we do this. And then, as I mentioned, the partnerships that we have with those folks, we also deal with the Department of Health folks as well. We have monthly meetings with them on the campus side of things. Challenges, one of the reasons why our numbers are down because of the training. People have retired recently, which when you get multiple people at the same time training, it takes the rest of the staff to really carry the weight there. It's quite a challenge. And then, of course, the one that this agency deals with quite often is the industry changes, trying to keep up with everything else like everyone else. So that's all we have today. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Meenu Thapar. I'm the tax and fee manager in the finance division. In the division, we have 3 units, beer and wine. Jason Martin is the supervisor for that unit, and cannabis and spirits. Gregory Orr online is the supervisor for those units. Total of 12 staff member together we are, and our main responsibility in the tax and fee is collecting tax and revenue for the agency. We also monitor reporting requirements to ensure licensees submit accurately and in timely manner. It's very important that they are very in compliant with the WAC and the RCWs. With that, another important role we have is a customer service. Our division assists licensees with reporting requirements and online systems while ensuring tax and fee revenue is collected and distributed accurately. Finally, the tax and fee unit works closely with LCB auditors, licensing division, and enforcement division. This collaboration helps promote fair and consistent administration of RCWs and WACs across the agencies. It's very important that we all three groups work together so that we can communicate together, we can be successful in collecting the revenue which we do, and that's an important part of it. Overall, the tax and fee division plays a critical role in ensuring tax and fees are collected accurately, supporting licensing, and working with other divisions to ensure consistent compliance with state laws and regulations. I will go to the challenges first, then we can talk about our successes. So here we have highlighted 3 challenges that currently tax and fee unit is facing that affects our efficiency, compliance, and revenue recovery. First of all, while online reporting and payment systems are available to some, but not all, licensees still experience difficulties using them, understanding the reporting processes, and preparing manual reports. Providing continuous support to and guidance to the licensees so that they can stay in compliant is very important, and it's an important part of us communicating with them. Another challenge we have is tax and fee collection process. Following up on unpaid balances and ensuring timely payments can be complex and require collaboration with other divisions within the agency. Third challenge is when licensees are selling or transferring businesses while an audit is in progress or when they owe taxes to LCB. In these situations, the tax and fee division works with licensing to ensure that outstanding tax obligations are addressed and that the transfer complies with the applicable laws and regulations. So as you have heard, the common theme is that our current processes are predominantly manual and fragmented. This increases staff workload, creates compliance risk, makes it harder to protect and recover revenue. Enhancing online reporting capabilities, strengthening communication between business units, establishing better tracking for collection would significantly reduce these risks. I will go to the priorities, then come back to the success. The top priority for the tax and fee division is to successfully implement the new tax and fee system, which we are in the project working right now. This new system is expected to improve how licensees report and pay tax and fees, make processes more efficient, and enhance the overall customer service experience. It will also help staff manage tax and fee processes more effectively through improved technology and streamlined workflows. Now I come to the successes. Over here, there are 2 successes, but I would like to first acknowledge my tax and fee unit, the staff for collaborating together. Previously, when I joined LCB, these were 3 silo units, and 2 years and 5 months. Now the units are all collaborative. They collaborate with each other. The silos are broken. And I have to give the kudos to my supervisor and the staff for that. I'm very proud for the transition. It was very hard, but we have done it. And I'm very proud of my team for working hard to collaborate together and learning and cross-training between each other to help each other wherever needed. It has been very hard since my cannabis supervisor retired to keep up with that position for a supervisor. And with revenue and all the deficit, we had to lose 1 position in tax and fee. So we combined the cannabis and spirits unit together. And we are very proud to have Gregory Orr as a supervisor. Gregory originally started with Spirits Unit in the tax and fee and promoted to the auditor position and finally came back home as a cannabis and spirits supervisor. Okay, Greg is truly a team player who thrives to learn and challenge himself. He is committed to the success of the team, ensures that they have all the tools and resources to support what they need to perform their duties. His dedication, leadership skills, and willingness to learn is very, very valuable to tax and fee and to our organization. So I welcome Gregory. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you. I appreciate Jason too. And another success I have is we are in the process of getting a new system for tax and fee. And it's an honor to work with Jolene Skinner as our project manager. She has been very valuable to us in giving her knowledge and helping with OCM manager and the communication manager to make sure that the project is successful and stay intact and in timely manner. I'm going to hand it to Jolene to give an overview of the tax and fee project.
All right. Well, as Mina mentioned, I'm Jolene Skinner. I'm project manager for our tax and fee systems replacement project. That is our official project name with WATEC. So if you're looking up our project on their dashboard, that's what it'll be under. As Mina already mentioned, our purpose of our project is replacing these fragmented systems that we have into one modern cloud-based solution. So we are in the dead middle of this project. Actually, we're right about 50% through. So with that, we had our on-site with our vendor back in June. So that's a picture of some of us that were left on the end of the day of our last day of the on-site. You can see over there our project team. We have our executive sponsors, our CFO, Spencer, and then our business sponsor is Minu. Technical sponsor is our CIO, which is Stephanie. And then here's your project manager. And then we also have our product owner, Kyle. And then Sam over here is our communications lead. Our vendor is Revenue Solutions Incorporated. They are providing the modern cloud-based solution. It is what's called a SaaS product. It's a software as a solution. So it is a little bit different than what you have come to know as Leads. And Leads is called a platform as a solution, where this is a software as a solution. So it's a little bit set up differently on how the system is set up and managed. And then outside of our sponsors on our project, we have our steering committee members, which also include Tony and Brian. Next slide. So I wanted to give just an overview of a key couple of things on this project. I know I've been forewarned that there may be a lot of questions and other things surrounding this project. So I wanted to provide enough time and liberty to provide a lot of questions and more information, all of that. So I wanted just to touch on the schedule real quick, what we've already accomplished, what we have coming up. So we'll just start in the top left. We have already our phase 1 is completed. That included getting all the prep work done. We had our kickoff on January 6th officially. And since then, in that phase 1, we accomplished with setting up our licensing and accounts for all the license types within the system. And then we've begun the data conversion from those legacy systems, taking a look at all of that data. How are we going to merge that, convert that into this new system? Then in phase 2, which is what we are doing right now, we are in the midst of phase 2. We are going to be actually within the next couple of weeks, actually later this month, is begin development of our external portal where our customers be interfacing with the system. We are in the midst of establishing payment application rules, how people will be able to pay, and this payment distribution of those, how it will be distributed across different accounts. We're actually interfacing with Leads. Leads is going to be the main system where we get all of our data from, how we know, all the businesses that have been licensed, the type of licensing, all of that is we're having a direct feed from Leads into this new system. So we don't have to worry about how to pull that data, identify all that. It's all going to come directly from Leads. So we're working hard right now on developing that interface and working with the Leads team on that. And then we have all of the wonderful forms and notices that need to get developed. And so we're working on that within this phase. Later on in the fall, we'll be developing an interface with our bank, US Bank, establishing account balance reconciliation rules, and then begin development on the audit processes. Then in winter, so this will be starting in January, most of our core development of the system will be done by then. So there'll still be additional things that we'll be working on of developing reports, interface with Workday, which is the replacement for AFERS. So our statewide accounting system will be having a direct interface with that as well. And then, but majority of the time between January and when we go live in spring of next year, we will be focusing on doing what's called model office testing. So that's when all of Minu's team and also Byron's team for audit will be coming into the system and taking their real life work and going, okay, now how do I accomplish that within the system? And so they'll be able to do their actual work, testing it out within the system to ensure that the system will meet their needs so we can, and we're leaving time within the schedule to make any adjustments as needed that we find within that process. And then also we'll be doing lots of internal and external training during that point in time and communications to ensure that staff and customers know how to use the system and are prepared for go live, which I will cover more in a minute. And then, like I said, go live is in spring. It's slated for mid-April right now. And then what the plan is there is that we are allowing for the month-end process to happen for the end of March. So as soon as end of day, March 31st hits, we are going to close down all of our legacy systems and say, okay, customers, this is now closed down and the new system will be back up and running once we get our go live, which is, like I said, slated for mid-April. And then during that point in time, we'll do a massive cut over before we go live. And during that point in time, again, we'll be doing lots of communications with the customers. Once we go live, then we have a 90-day warranty period with our vendor, with Revenue Solutions Incorporated. So we'll be working with them over the 90-day period to ensure that our systems are working appropriately before they cut loose and leave it to us to manage from there. So next slide. So one of the things I touched on is dealing with our external customers. They are key to the success of the system to ensure that they can actually adopt the system and be able to use it day one and have confidence in using the system. That's our goal in this project. So is what our plan is that we're going to have structured town halls and surveys to gain feedback throughout this project. We started with a survey back in September to get a baseline understanding of their needs and wants for this new system, their challenges that they have with the existing systems that Minu kind of highlighted in what she talked about as well. So we're taking all of that feedback and we've actually actively used some of that feedback as we've been working through some of these decisions within our system. Once we have that external portal set up, at the end of this phase, then we can actually start demoing out the system to our external customers and be able to show them what's upcoming, what they can look forward to, and start getting feedback on that as well. We also have an external website that has already been set up. So if you go out to lcb.wa.gov and go into the tax and fee section, There is a project website out there. And so in our recent communications last month in July in the newsletters, we had a portion of the newsletter dedicated to this project that linked the customers out to that website so they can go in there and continuously get updates on this project as we move forward. Already touched on that we're going to have robust just-in-time training webinars, videos, materials for our customers to be able to learn about the system, get hands-on help, all of that stuff. Already talked about that we're doing the quarterly top 6 and trends newsletter articles. We'll continue to do that through the rest of the project. And then one of the things that we want to do is attend any stakeholder events. If there, you know that you're going to be meeting with stakeholders. If you want to have a few, pointers or little clips that you can have as you're meeting with stakeholders, let us know. And you'll work with Sam and myself to get you that information, or have us attend an event to provide information, demo, all of that. Yeah, so that is our plan. Next slide. Forget what we have here. Oh, so this just outlines what that looks like within each different phases, and shows what we've already completed in phase 1, what we've already completed now within this phase 2, and then our plan for the future phases. So you can see how that's laid out, what we have upcoming for fall, winter, and then for go live. So that all works. Any questions on all that? I went through that really quickly, so.
I was pleased to figure out with Gretchen's help what AFERS meant
Oh, yes.
in reviewing materials
Okay.
in advance. So,
Great.
but I did have a question. Is Workday a platform, a software program, or vendor, or none of the above?
It is a software system.
Okay.
Actually, that is the name of the software system. The project name is One Washington. That's the project name with OFM. So you might have heard that as well. Yep. Hey, Tony.
What do external stakeholders do from March 31st until mid-April when you go live?
Good question. So they're not going to be able to do anything. So we're going to do a lot of communication to make sure that they have their reporting in by March 20th, by that due date, to allow then for the staff to do their closeout, or to get everything in. I mean, we'll have a couple of leeway, till the 31st, but we're really going to be pushing them to get all of their reporting done and payments done before that 31st deadline. And then from the 1st through the time for about 6 days, our tax and fee team will be feverishly working on doing the month end closeout and get that all done. And then from there, we're going to be working on all the stuff to get everything over into the new system. So there will be that transition period of where no staff and no customers can get into the legacy system.
And we'll make sure, because I'm pretty much sure there will be some licensees that will not be able to report or something. So Jason and Greg will have to make adjustments or something, based on those amounts and everything. So it will be a busy time, but we want to make sure we capture as much information we can for closing purposes.
So Jason will be answering all the phone calls.
That's right.
You say so.
We'll just Jason's phone number on the LCB website, Jason and his smiling picture.
Jason and Greg, both of them.
Yeah, and we'll develop a cohesive plan of how this is all going to work and really make sure that we're providing a lot of communications out to our customers, giving them a well in advance notice and continuous notice leading up to that March 31st deadline.
Thank you.
Yep.
I knew you had good answers.
Yeah. Anything else? I think I don't have, is there one more slide?
Board member
I don't
Karen?
remember. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Anybody online?
Just checking.
This is Ali. I don't have any questions. I just want to make a comment that I after being on the board for 10 years, learned a lot today about an area, an area that I didn't have any knowledge of all of the stuff that goes on. So thank you for that. All of you.
Thank you.
So this is just closing information, high level information about our project. Our budget is 8.2 million. We do have oversight provided by WATEC, and we have an external quality assurance vendor, Integrated Solutions Group, that also provides oversight along with the legislature and OFM. So lots of oversight on this project is what happened with SMP as well. We are on track currently with our overall status of our project with scope, schedule, budget, and milestones currently. And then there's some key websites there as well, that project website that I talked about. We also have a new laws and rules website, which will be already directing customers to get all the laws and rules related to tax and fee there. That will be key on all of our notices that'll be in the system as well. And then that final link there is actually the project dashboard out there on WATEC that anybody can go to get information about this project and see progress. And that's it for me.
I'll be studying websites.
And then the questions will come.
I know how to
That's
reach.
right. Yes, exactly.
Okay,
And that's all we had today. So huge thanks to the team for presenting and for you and Ollie to give them a platform to present, since my job's mostly just to stay out of their way and let them get work done.
they did a great job. Like Ollie, I learned a lot today, and I really appreciate you and all that you do. So for the roundtable section item on the agenda, I'd like to hold our Deputy Director Hood, our Director LaKella, and Board Member Garrett to the end to close us out. But I'd like to call on the rest of our division directors, hint in the order that you're in the agenda, so you're not too surprised, just to see if you have anything for the good of the order. So that would mean online, Nicola, anything for licensing?
Hi, no, not at this time. Thank you.
Thank you for covering for Director Smith.
Of course, thank you.
Okay, and Sam, you're covering for
Director Smith.
Ryan. Oh my goodness, you call him Dr. Smith? Oh, oh, I can't wait.
Nothing from pancakes.
Okay, thank you. So our HR Director, Janina.
No updates from HR today.
Okay.
Thanks.
Our Policy and External Affairs Director, Justin.
So just a comment that kind of ties into the presentation. So the agency request legislation we're considering, you'll see a delayed implementation on part of it. And that's a strategy to help when the implementation of the tax and fee system goes in, that they're not trying to juggle too many things. So when you're seeing that January 1 date, it provides that cushion of opportunity. So I just want to make sure that that was known to the board members.
I thought Minu might have mentioned something about the agency
Yes,
request legislation.
I have to give big thanks to Justin to help us to get this through. It was hard work between auditors and us to get it so we can get some revenue and, have some stronger compliance with the licensees.
You bet. Yeah, playing that sleight of hand where you transfer the license without the liability is something that really we have to come to grips with. So it sounds like we're well on our way. How about Dr. Grant, our enforcement director?
Now, just a thank you to this team. There is very little that goes on the second floor or in the state that one or many of these folks don't facilitate or take care of, from fleet all the way through contracts and just trying to make sure we pay bills out in the field. So I'm a fan, and we're always in contact with this group. So thanks for what y'all do, and nothing else to add.
Thank you. I know our legislative director is getting some well-earned time off in advance of the long session just around the corner. So we've heard from finance, so I'm going to go right to our CIO, Stephanie.
Sure, I will echo what Larry just said. My team is in very close contact with almost everybody in finance on a regular basis. They support us, we support them. Just a wonderful team and wonderful presentation. I even learned some more things I didn't know that you guys did today. So thank you. And nothing else from my team.
Great, thank you. So anything from Deb?
Nothing tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. And then Gloria, are you online?
I am, but nothing for me. Thank you.
Okay, okay, so let me turn first to Deputy Director Hood.
I will briefly talk about our transition to WA.gov. We are required to move to WA.gov off of SAW, and all of the state will be moving on to that by the end of 2027, and we are doing this in phases. And the first program that moves over is CCRS. And so we have a group of people, mainly composed of Stephanie's team, and Kristen Boyston from the director's office is the project lead. And they are getting ready, working with the integrators, communicating with them. Sam is helping with the communications out to all the external stakeholders, but specifically the integrators who have to upload information. So this is a change for them. They're used to using SAW and working with CCRS via SAW. So we're explaining to them what will be new in the future. And they're also doing something called machine to machine. They're setting it up so that they can work machine to machine. And they're doing some great work on the LCB side to make this more convenient for the integrators. And they're going to set up a sandbox so that the integrators can test this out if they want to. That will be ready at the end of August. And I'm just really happy with the way the project is going and the communication. This is something that we are required to do because SAW will go away and everything will need to go to WA.gov. But we will do this first with CCRS. And then this is basically built in to the tax and fee system. It won't be a change necessarily because it's built into the new system. And then in either August or September, we will go, a year from now, we will go with the leads and the external users of leads. So I'm just really happy that things are going well to transition our first program over.
Great, thank you. You know, having read recently about an AI program breaking out of the sandbox.
Yes, hopefully moving out like that happens, yeah.
Thanks. Our fearless director,
You
Mr.
know,
LaCalla.
just real quick, spoiled, extremely spoiled. Okay, and so phenomenal presentation. I appreciate all the work that your staff do. I don't know if this is on purpose or by accident. Melissa mentioned it already. The Secretary of State Productivity Award that staff got to participate in yesterday. I was there for the awards ceremony. I mean, yes. It was one of the first projects, or second actually, that happened during my tenure here. And it came from discussions of when we could save money and how we can save money. And staff really did. They put their heads together and came up with a bunch of different solutions, right? And this one stuck. So for me, it's a great reminder, and for staff and everyone else, that if you have ideas, please don't keep them to yourself, because they can really benefit the agency and the state of Washington. So thank you.
Amen. Thank you. And last but not least, fellow board member Garrett, do you have anything for the good of the order?
I just want to say again that that was a great presentation today, and I learned a lot. And I think that our agency, because I recall either last year or the year before being over at the Secretary of State when we got an award for
Yep, it was last year.
It was last year. Okay. Yeah, last year. So every year we're getting but thank you.
Thank you, Ollie. Okay, unless there's any other questions, anything else for the good of the order, I'll hereby adjourn this meeting of the executive management team. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Somebody say the